Let f be a differentiable function such that f of 0 equals 2 and f prime of x equals sine of x. What is the value of f of pi? Now, when you approach a question like this and we're given information about an original function and we're told what the derivative is, we know that we want to use the fundamental theorem of calculus, part 1. The fundamental theorem of calculus tells us that the integral from a to b of f prime, or f of, I'm going to write f of x dx because this is how the normal one is written, is equal to f of b minus f of a. And we can also rewrite this. Remember, this relationship is because f prime of x, the big F, equals f of x. Right? And so I'm going to rewrite this a different way. It still means the same thing. The integral from a to b of f prime of x dx equals f of b minus f of a, all lowercase. And so this is because f prime is f prime, right? And so now we can use some of the values that we have here. I see that I have 0 and pi. Let me do this in red. Let me do this in red. Hold on one moment. We have 0 and pi as our x values, and so I know that I'm going to want an integral from 0 to pi of f prime, and in this case that's sine of x. Sine x with respect to x is going to be equal to f of pi minus f of 0. Alright. Now, I'm going to rearrange this because the question is just asking us for f of pi. So I'm going to add f of 0 to both sides. So we get the integral from 0 to pi of sine x with respect to x plus f of 0 equals f of pi. Now what do we know? Well, I'm going to move this over a little bit. We know that f of 0 equals 2, so I can plug that in. I'm going to draw this arrow so I know that I'm following my work here. The integral from 0 to pi of sine x dx plus 2 equals f of pi. Now the integral of sine x dx, well, we're going to evaluate this definite integral. I know the integral of sine x is negative cosine x. So we have negative cosine x from 0 to pi. That plus 2 will equal f of pi. We're going to now keep writing this down. We're going to plug in these values. So negative cosine of pi minus negative cosine of 0 plus 2. Cosine of pi is negative 1 times negative is positive 1. Minus, well, cosine of 0 is 1, negative 1 minus negative 1, which is positive 1, plus 2 equals, this is 2 plus 2 is 4. So we find that f of pi will equal 4. This we used by knowing the, and I'll write a little star here, this is our fundamental theorem of calculus. The integral from a to b of f of x dx equals f of b minus f of a.